Hello, and welcome to Beginning English Language Learning. My name is Miss Lewis, and this is Week 7. We're learning about Washington, D.C. Today, let's focus on day number 2. We're going to look at syllables, talk about George Washington and why he's important, and how we honor him. Let's get started. First, we're going to listen and try to separate the syllables in words. Syllable is every time I hear a vowel sound. So let's look at some examples. This word says bed. It has one part, one vowel sound. Bed, bed. Can you clap it with me? Bed. Good. Let's look at a different word that has two parts, two syllables. The word is mommy. I can break it up to be mommy. Can you clap it with me? Mommy. Excellent. That has two syllables. Now let's look at a longer word, Washington. This goes Washington. Washington. 3 syllables. Can you clap it with me? Washington. Good. That word has 3 syllables. So we can go through and clap out some other ones too. Let's look at an example. This word is book. Repeat after me. Book. Good. Now let's clap it out. Book. 1 syllable. This word is baby. Repeat, baby. Good. Now let's clap it out. Baby. 2 syllables. This word is president. Repeat after me. President. Good. Now let's clap it out. President. 1 more time. President. Very good. That has 3 parts, 3 syllables. Let's look at some other examples there and see if we can figure out how many syllables these words have. My first word is home. Repeat after me. Home. Good. My sounds are home. I have 1 syllable. Home. Good. Let's do this one. Repeat after me. City. Good. Now, how about you try to break apart the sounds? City. Good. Let's do our parts. City. Clap it. City. Good. This has 2 syllables. City. My last word is family. See if you can break apart the different parts. Are you ready? Family. Let's do it again. Family. Good. This has 3 parts to it. Family. Excellent. This helps me to understand the words better when I break apart the different sections. It also helps me to read it. Good job with your syllables. We'll see some of these words today as we get into our book. Here's our vocabulary. Look at the picture. My word is honor. Here I can see someone showing respect and honor. Like when I bow my head, or maybe even I might put my hand over my heart when I say the Pledge of Allegiance. In this picture, I see somebody saluting, or we take our hat off to show respect and honor someone. Repeat after me. Honor. Good. Now let's write it. H-O-N-O-R. Honor. Our second word is president. The president is a leader in our country. Here's a picture of our president. Let's write out the word. P-R-E-S-I-D-E-N-T. President. Very good. My next word is general. Look at the picture. What do you see? I see lots of people with uniforms. They look like soldiers. But this man has on different clothes. He is the general. He is a leader of the soldiers. Repeat after me. General. Very good. Now let's write the word. G-E-N-E-R-A-L. General. My next word is war. Look at the picture. What do you see? Yes, I see people fighting. I see guns and swords. A war is when two big groups of people come together and fight. Repeat after me. War. Good. Now let's write our word. W-A-R. And these pictures are connected. Look, so a fight, or I want to fight, is what we see here. Or I can say, they are fighting. Can you repeat those two words after me? Fight, fighting. Very good. I see people fighting in the war. Now let's write out my word fight and then fighting. Fight is F-I-G-H-T. And for fighting, we put in I-N-G. Excellent. Let's go through and say the words together. Honor, president, general, war, fighting. Excellent. We're ready to read our book. Today we are reading about George Washington. And here is a picture of him. I can see this is Washington, D.C. This is George Washington. And here says president. Look at this picture. There he is. Let's read the words. Washington, D.C. is named for George Washington. George Washington was the first president of the USA. George Washington was our general. He was in a war that made the USA a country. This says George Washington, War of Independence. I see him fighting there. George Washington was a strong general. His soldiers had little food. His soldiers were cold. Look at the picture of the soldiers. He helped them keep fighting for the USA. Americans honor George Washington. His face is on the dollar bill. His face is on the quarter. That's our money. Washington State is named for George Washington. Washington, D.C. is named for George Washington, too. Great. Now let's do some activities. We want to match the picture with the words in the sentence. Look at the pictures. Good. Now, you'd read sentence number 1, then we'll read it together. Good. It says, Washington was a president. I know that a president was the leader of many people. Which picture do you see this? Yes, here he is as the president. Let's read it again together. Washington was a president. Number 2, you try to read it. Good. I'll read it now. Washington was a general. I remember that a general is a leader of soldiers. Which picture shows him leading soldiers? Yes, very good. I can also find that in my book. He was a general helping the soldiers. Now let's read it together. Washington was a general. Number 3, you read it. Good. Now I'll read it. Washington was in the war. I remember a war is when people are fighting each other. Which picture shows this? Yes, very good. Now let's read it together. Washington was in the war. Number 4, you read it. Good. Number 4 says, Washington's face is on the dollar. Which picture shows this? If I forget, I can go back to my text. It says his face is on the dollar bill. Which one says dollar? Yes, here it is. Washington's face is on the dollar. Very good. Let's read it together. Washington's face is on the dollar. Number 5, you read it. Good. My turn. Washington's face is on the quarter. We just saw this too. Yes, here it is. Let's read it together. Washington's face is on the quarter. For our last activity, we want to write and talk about what we read. My first question says, why is George Washington important? To start my sentence, I say, George Washington is important because, and let's go back to my book. Why is he important? It says here, he was the first president. That does sound pretty important. Because he was the first president. Good. You might find different details. Maybe you want to talk about the war. Next it says, how do we honor George Washington? My word honor. Here, that's to show respect. How can we honor him? In my book, I remember that we put his face on our money, the dollar bill and the quarter, to help remember him. Also, I'll read this section. It says, Washington State is named for George Washington. Washington, D.C. is named for him too. So I might put, we honor George Washington. He is on our money. Or you can put, his face is on the dollar bill. The last part is to go ahead and talk about it. Tell people what you learned. Great job!